So, if you're a classically trained violinist, you know the modern performance world can be, well, a bit of a shock. You've spent years, right, mastering your instrument in these beautiful, acoustically perfect rooms. But what happens when you step outside that bubble? Well, the answer is you have to take complete control of your own sound. So let's break down exactly how you do that.
You know, this quote just hits the nail on the head. In the very structured world of classical music, we're taught that if you just play well enough, your excellence will be recognized. And in that system, it's true. But that assumption is totally ineffective when you're playing events, parties, or in some really unconventional venues. The old system rewards academic skill. The new one, it rewards adaptability and, more than anything, control over your own sound.
And that's really the first big reality check, isn't it? The acoustic bubble just pops. The second you step outside of a concert hall, you just can't rely on perfect circumstances anymore. If you want to perform consistently and professionally, you and only you have to be the one who controls how you're heard.
Okay, so you're an acoustic instrumentalist. You're ready to take that control, but where do you even start? I mean, how do you step into this whole world of amplification without getting totally overwhelmed by all the gear and the jargon?
It all begins with building a simple, minimal, and reliable setup. We're not talking about complicated studio gear here. We're talking about the absolute essential tools that give you independence and the confidence to walk into almost any situation and know you're going to sound good.
Everything, and I mean everything, starts with the pickup. This little device is basically the bridge between your acoustic instrument and the entire amplified world. It's that critical first step that lets your violin's beautiful voice actually be heard through a speaker.
Okay, let's look at the two main types, passive and active. And listen, there is no single best option here. It's all about the right tool for the right job. A passive pickup is super simple, no battery needed, but it has a lower output, so you'll usually need a little something called a preamp to boost the signal. Now, an active pickup, that has a preamp built right in. It gives you a stronger, hotter, more reliable signal that's just perfect for cutting through the noise on a loud stage. The choice really just depends on where you're going to be playing.
And here's a look at how they actually attach to your instrument. On one hand, you've got the simple clamp-on style. This is perfect if you're just starting out or only need to plug in occasionally, because it's easy to pop on and off. But for those who are gigging all the time, a bridge-integrated pickup is a much more permanent, stable solution. It actually replaces your existing bridge and gives you a super consistent sound night after night.
So once you have that pickup, you only need a few more things to be self-sufficient. First, a good cable. This is non-negotiable, and seriously, always carry a backup. Then you need a DI box. This little magic box protects your sound, converting your signal so it plays nice with professional sound systems and stays clean and noise-free. And finally, your secret weapon, a portable speaker.
Honestly, bringing your own speaker is an absolute game changer. It is your personal monitor, it's your backup plan, it's your safety net. You are no longer at the mercy of whatever gear the venue has or doesn't have. You can hear yourself clearly, you can warm up properly, and you can even use it as a mini sound system for smaller gigs. It's all about independence.
But, having the right gear is only half the battle. Just making a sound isn't enough. Now you have to learn how to shape it, to turn that raw electrical signal into a professional musical tone. And this is where the art comes in.
And this is a really crucial point. The moment you plug in, your beautiful, nuanced acoustic tone becomes electronic information. And if you don't take charge of shaping that information, guess who will? The sound engineer, and they'll shape it based on their idea of what a violin should sound like. Or even worse, no one will, and you'll be stuck with a thin, harsh sound that does not represent your playing at all.
So, the most powerful tool you have for shaping your sound is understanding basic EQ, or frequencies. It's not as complicated as it sounds. For a violin, you basically just want to control the low end to avoid that muddy sound. You want to boost the mids because that's where the core character and body of your instrument lives. And then you carefully manage the highs to get clarity without sounding all scratchy and harsh. Just knowing this much lets you talk to any sound tech and get what you want.
Now, when it comes to effects, like reverb or delay, this is the golden rule. Seriously, effects should enhance an already great sound. They shouldn't be used to try and fix a bad one. Start simple. A little bit of reverb can add some really nice space and dimension, but your core, professional tone has to come from your playing and your EQ, not from a pedal.
Okay, so we've covered the basics of getting your sound right. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of solo performance. How do you handle things like backing tracks? And maybe even more important, how do you actually hear yourself in a live setting?
This right here is one of the biggest lessons for any performer, period. The sound that's coming out of that speaker pointed at your face on stage, that is a completely different sound from what the audience is hearing out front. What sounds perfect to you might be totally harsh or unbalanced out in the room. You have to be aware of both worlds.
To solve this whole monitoring problem, a lot of performers use in-ears. A wired system is a fantastic, affordable way to start. It gives you a stable, crystal-clear mix right in your ears. But a wireless system? That is true freedom. It lets you move anywhere you want on stage. You can even walk out into the audience, and you'll be hearing the exact same perfect mix the entire time.
And that idea of freedom, well, that brings us to the ultimate tools for the modern violinist, a completely wireless instrument system, and, for some, the electric violin itself.
But here's a funny little problem that is pretty unique to us violinists, right? A guitarist can just clip their wireless transmitter pack onto their strap or their belt, but where do we put it? That's why these compact plug-in wireless systems that don't need a body pack at all have become so popular. They solve a very real, very annoying problem for us.
You know, the electric violin isn't some new fad. It's an evolution. It actually started way back in 1935 as this kind of weird experiment. Then in the 80s and 90s, you had pioneers using them in rock and jazz. By the 2000s, brands started making models that made the switch way easier for classical players. And today, oh man, today, you have these radical designs that are built from the ground up for pure performance, completely exploding the possibilities.
And here's a look at one of the originals. This Rickenbacker from 1935 just goes to show you that musicians have been trying to solve this same problem, how to be heard, for a very, very long time.
And this slide is just a perfect contrast of the two philosophies today. On the left, you've got a Yamaha electric violin. It's designed to feel familiar, comfortable for a classical player who's making that switch. And on the right, that's the Mark Wood Viper. It is a completely reimagined instrument with this wild chest support system that frees up your hands and your whole body for just maximum stage presence and freedom.
So this brings us to the final big question. Should you add a pickup to your beloved acoustic, or do you invest in a dedicated electric violin? And the thing is, the answer isn't about which one is better. It's a strategic decision that's based entirely on your goals. Are you just looking to enhance the acoustic sound you already have, or are you ready to build a whole new performance identity from the ground up? The choice really is a reflection of your professional intent. So what's yours?